Yeah, that's interesting. Uh, yeah, that was well, that's pjnet.tv. Hey, you got to eavesdrop on Between Sets, Running Bumper, Dell Didway standing by. We will switch to Studio 40 Alpha starting now. Okay, PJ Net Part 2. We continue with Dell Didway. It's we're running a little bit behind, not as bad as I thought. Wow, what a great time we had, but that will be no less entertaining and interesting than Dell Didway, who joins us the first and third Tuesdays of the month from his palatial workspace there in Coffee Cup. Oh, Dell, were there any good college games on last weekend?
The Buckeyes are on. That's all that matters.
Didn't they play some team? What was it? Who's that team? Didn't they play
You tell
Michigan?
me.
Was it?
No, it's coming up. They play Michigan State this coming Saturday, and then Michigan after that.
Oh, Michigan State, then Michigan.
Yeah, they got two tough roads, two tough games. They're ending with two tough games, whereas Alabama always gets a cakewalk. So
Come on, Dale. You really? Okay. Well, it's going to be an interesting year, and
hey, you know Karis, she's one of my clients. She's a big Alabama fan. I
oh yeah,
call it when Alabama lost earlier in the year to an unranked team. The question was, would they move up to second or first after they lost to an unranked team? That's the question for Alabama. When they lose, they go up, but not as far as So, so
I misspelled your name, Dale. Let me see if I got it right this time. Okay,
you got it right.
well. And the funny thing is, I didn't misspell the last name. I misspelled the first.
All right. Took a
That's
rough night.
that's tough. What has been going on? We haven't had a chance to converse since the last time we spoke 2 weeks ago. But a man like
Right.
you hasn't been sitting still for 2 weeks. What have you been doing?
I started. I started the Florida book this week, which has really been refreshing because I've had a little time off from writing, except for when I cover the Bengals. So it was really refreshing, and I really like one of the chapters I just wrote yesterday. It was really, I think, one of the best things I've ever written as far as a little chapter. I'm really excited about it. So we're starting that. I know Bethany's starting the Florida State one, and we'll join forces pretty soon with her on that. So we started that book. Hopefully, it'll be out next season. Just got back in from. I was speaking tonight at one of our local Kiwanis groups, and Kiwanis is a great organization.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife was the president last year of the Horsemen of Kiwanis, but this was another local chapter, and they invited me to speak. So it went a little longer than I had planned, but we had a good time. Everybody had a lot of questions, so it was
Well,
fun.
you could have taken your time because we were we were we were really struggling here. But so the writing conferences are done. You're starting a new book now. How many books do you have to do next year?
One will release. It's already done. It will release in March, and then we're writing two more for next season. Then we're going to be starting one, hopefully for 2023, I think, something like that. Yeah.
Now, do I have it correct? And help me if I'm doing this wrong. When you write these motivational, inspirational books based on a team,
Mm-hmm.
those are written and marketed in the general, written for and targeted to the general market. Am I correct on that?
Well,
Bengal believer,
yeah, well, those are targeted more to the Christian audience. Some of those are now. My dugout devotions, first down devotions, are targeted to both general market. They're called a crossover. They're targeted to both general market and a Christian market. The motivational books that we've written about Indiana basketball, Kentucky basketball, those are to the general market. They're motivational books without scripture, basically. So, but yeah, it's depending on the publisher who in the book. Like Auburn Believer and Bama Believer was more towards the Christian market, but the Dugout Devotions, the First Down Devotions 1 and 2, have been geared toward both general and Christian markets, crossovers, and you know, I like that. I like being in both markets. I like general market as well.
Well, the ones that I have seen and had in my hands and read, I think that you are kind of threading a needle. On the one hand, if you go too far over into the start including scripture and it starts getting preachy, you lose that general audience, which has a monetary impact, but that's not the big deal. The idea is to write a book that appeals to a general market but introduces a Christian message or a Christian
Yeah,
theme. Have I got it right?
yeah, our devotionals, are pretty standard, straightforward.
Right.
Who we're marketing to. Some of the others we're trying to target and trying to give them a little taste of something to maybe whet their curiosity a little bit because they need to read too, so they need to be safe too. So we kind of have to be not delicate as much, but with some of the
Threading the
other ones,
needle.
we get our point across. I mean, we get it in there. The book we did with Michelle and I referenced a lot of going to church. We referenced a lot of morality and not scripture so much, but we would always touch on it, Sunday school and things like that. So
Right. You
they
find
kind
a
of
way. Yeah.
we find a way to get it in there. Yeah.
Now the Florida book you mentioned earlier,
Mhm.
there's a tandem. It's kind of like Alabama, Auburn. You're doing Florida and Florida State, but I know Bethany, yourself, and isn't there a third?
Well, for the Florida State one, yeah, it's going to be Bethany and myself, and Andy Clapp's going to contribute to that as well. But I'm doing the Florida one by myself, and they are going to be like a rivalry books. Try to release them at the same time,
They are
and
right.
there'll be two different books, but both geared toward
Del,
those fan base.
did you happen to watch the FSU Miami rivalry?
I have in the past. I'm not a big
No,
stickler on
this
it,
one.
but
Well, something happened at the end of the game this year that caught me totally by surprise. You're aware that the quarterback can spike the ball to effectively stop the clock,
hmm
burn it down. Did you know you can't do it inside of 3 seconds left in the game?
didn't know that.
I
Yes, I
didn't.
did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did know that. Yes, I did know that.
Well, guess what happened? Miami had possession, and he spiked the ball with 2 seconds.
Okay.
And of course, very few people, including myself, knew that rule. Here's my question. So the referee just announced the game is over. You cannot spike the ball inside of 3 seconds. Here's my question. Then wouldn't that be a live football on the ground?
Yes, it would, yeah.
I would
That
think so.
yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. In which case, somebody should have recovered it, and whatever the outcome was. But they were deep in their own territory. The best they could have done is tried to sling a Hail Mary downfield far enough to draw an pass interference, and then hope to kick a field
Well,
goal. But
it's something else I've always wondered because when you and I played and uh, you used to have to get into the end zone to score, right? You didn't have to just put the ball over the goal line or
yeah,
break the plane. You used to have to be in the end zone, right?
well, yeah, the rules in football are crazy because there's
Yeah.
one set of rules for the end zone, but a different set of rules
Well,
for the sideline.
exactly, because if the ball crosses the plane, it's a touchdown. But if the receiver's running down the sideline and the ball goes and he breaks the plane out of bounds, is that out of bounds? Of
No,
course
and
not.
if he catches the ball, his whole body can be out of bounds as long as he can get a foot down.
Yeah, so they're very they're not consistent there on that. But yeah, they've changed that rule in the past where now you always have to do is touch the pylon or break the plane with
The
the
ball
ball.
has to break the plane. Yeah,
They used to have to be in the end zone.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
you had to. Yeah, put
and
your knee.
you could actually hit the quarterback. So
Yeah, you don't see that much anymore, do you?
you can't.
Is NFL football ever going to come back to its old glory?
Um, no, I think they've bubbled. I think they're having a good year. The NFL's having a good year. They're good attendance. I've not seen. I've been to several games this year. I've not seen one player kneeling, which is good, and I haven't seen any of the I thought let's call it stupidity on that end for a couple of years now. So I think Um, some of the idiots had their heyday, and they're gone now, which is a good thing because I don't see any of if they're there, they're being quiet. So everybody's standing for the flag, and everybody's respecting, and there's no, you know,
Because I basically boycotted the NFL
a lot of
years
people
ago.
did. A lot of people did, and I think they got the message because sales and attendance. Of course, last year was crazy anyway, but the year before, Papa John's Pizza took a big hit because they were one of the suppliers of the NFL,
Hmm.
and they were losing money, and they just said this stuff's got to stop. And money had a way to get back to the NFL, and they just said as long as this stuff keeps going on, we're losing money. You're going to lose money, and I think the players got the message.
Yeah, the COVID concern of mingling that many people together, that that's something
Yeah.
that was entirely different. But
Yeah,
uh,
but their heyday, I don't know if they'll have that heyday anymore. But they're certainly popular. It's the most popular sport out there. But people they saw where people will quickly leave if they're not entertained.
yeah,
Entertain, and play ball,
yeah, and
and
but
keep your
for the most
politics off
part,
to the side.
people of all stripes can sit in the stands and get along for long enough to watch a game. It's been a very
Yeah,
unifying. You recently ran a little poll on Facebook. You've had the good fortune, which is
oh
attributed to your talent, of personally interviewing, I guess, or at least being in three, three Dallas
yeah.
quarterbacks.
Yeah. I grew up a Cowboys fan because I was young. I was impressed by the America's team and the
Mhm.
star and everything like that. So that's who I grew up watching. The Stahlback, I was really amazed at his, and just that rivalry of Pittsburgh. And back then, football was football.
Hmm.
And it was a tougher man sport back then. So yeah, I was able to interview Roger and then spend some time with. I bump into Aikman whenever he comes to Cincinnati about once or
Hmm.
twice a year, and then was for the first time able to meet Tony Romo, and he was actually very polite, very courteous. We sat and chatted for a little bit. So I put that out the poll. Who's your favorite Dallas quarterback? Of course, it was overwhelmingly Roger.
Well, that's because that's the correct answer.
Yeah, I mean, you go by Troy won more Super Bowls, but Roger just had that. He was a gutsy player. He the two Super Bowls he
Well,
won with against Denver, great games.
he might have had more touchdowns, but the season used to be 10 games when Roger was playing.
Right, yeah. So Troy won three. He won three Super Bowls, and Roger won two. But that's not what it was about. Leadership, and Roger always had that way of bringing them back in the 2 minutes, and so just yeah, they 10, 12 games, and then towards the end of his career moved to 16 games. But yeah, everybody just loved the way Roger was gutsy and played hard. And
Well,
they all played hard, but
yeah, well, there was a different era back then. The mentality was when you were drafted by a team, you stayed with that team, and
most
that
of the time, yeah.
yeah, as a rule. So, but today it's all those players are for sale to the highest bidder at all times, and I don't think that's
Yeah,
healthy.
and you use and good for them. They can make what they want to make. It's capitalism. It's great. I'm in favor of that. But it used to be you used to have to earn that. If a player demanded so much money, you would think, well, win a championship. First.
Hmm.
Prove yourself first. But now that they don't have to do that. But it's kind of sad. That's why I don't think they'll reach that heyday again because a player won't play hurt anymore. I remember talking to Pete Rose one time, asking him about today's players compared to when he played. He just said today's baseball players are all, powder puff girls. He said when we played, you played hurt because you didn't want to lose your job.
Hmm.
And today he goes, oh my gosh, if there's many players out there who will sit out because of a little cold or something. But he just said, you just played ball, and
Yeah.
you earned your check. So different athlete today. Still some really great players out there.
Well, last week was the 40th anniversary of the not 40th. I'm sorry, whatever. The punt rooski. You know what I'm talking about?
No,
It's
maybe I do.
It's the most famous trick play engineer ever, and it was engineered by Bobby Bowden. It was used in the
Oh,
last minute or two of the Clemson game at Clemson with the score tied. We were punting from our own 21-yard line in the center. The punter jumped up and acted as if the ball had been snapped over his head,
oh yeah, yeah.
and then instead, so they wound up on the 1-yard line, and that set up the game-winning field goal. It's funny because on Facebook these things just appear in your feed. It must have came up about 3 different times, 3 different interviews with, and that almost got out. The running back, and I can't think of his name right now, told an old high school friend of his, "Hey, watch out, there's a trick play coming up."
Hmm.
Well, as it turns out, that high school friend who was in college was roommates with somebody connected to the Clemson team who told the coach, and they knew something was going to happen. But nobody fakes a punt from your own 21-yard line.
Nah,
Just don't
nah.
do that.
Now, I just wrote one of the chapters of the Florida book I mentioned Bobby Bowden in it because he had one of the great quotes, and I still remember this. This quote was I forget the year off the top of my head. I've had so many dates go through my mind, but they had beaten Florida during the regular season. Towards the end of the season, they beat Florida, and then they faced them in the national championship game a couple weeks later. And at the time, Florida was ranked number 1. Florida State was number 2. So when Florida State beat them, obviously they went up to number 1. Florida dropped back to 3rd, but they still played each other for the national title. Danny Warfel was playing for Florida. Florida, thumped them. Florida beat them pretty soundly for the national title.
Mhm.
And after the game, Bobby Bowden said, "Now you see why we didn't want to play him again."
You never know about a rivalry. Does Ohio State is Michigan it? Is that the big game?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, as far as John Cooper, great coach at Ohio State, great record over the years. Beat Michigan once, and he was fired. That's why I think this year with Michigan, I don't if Michigan doesn't beat Ohio State this year, which I really don't think they can. It's at Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Harbaugh will last. He's never beat Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
He's never beat Ohio State, and they're ranked right now. And this would be he's never beat the Buckeyes, and so I don't think he'll last. If he doesn't win this year, I look for it to be gone.
I remember one time
it's that important to them.
I was on the road driving, and I was listening to a talk show with Coach Steve Spurrier.
Yeah.
And I actually called in, and they screened me, and I wanted to ask a simple question. I'm sure it's been asked before, is why is it that the Florida State game is the last game of the year? Ideally, you would want to schedule that the first game of the year because you can recover from a loss. You got the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And he deflected and just didn't want to answer the question. He said he had, quote, nothing to do with scheduling. But yet all the rivalries are the last game of the year, and I think I figured it out. What's your take?
I mean, that's been a long-standing rivalry week. Oh my gosh, it's tough to say. Has been there since I can remember. I mean, Ohio State, Michigan's always had the last game of the year since time began, right? That's why God made it. God intended it that way for the Buckeyes to play Michigan on the last game of the season. So all the big rivals play that week, and it's always been that way.
I have a theory.
What is it?
I just recently developed this idea, but I've known for years when you have two rival teams playing, predicting that game is very difficult. One team could be 1-9, and the other team can be 9-1.
Mm-hmm.
That is no predictor. Okay, when you get two rivals together, you're probably going to get some surprises. I figure that they do that late in the year so that usually it's not even a conference opponent, but to make it interesting like that, because if they played early, you could probably pretty well say, oh yeah, I know what's going to happen here. But late in the year, two teams that would normally be a mismatch, if they're rivals, think
Right.
again.
And I've been to several Ohio State Michigan games, and it gets pretty testy. I've seen literal fistfights in the stands. Um, People, throwing things at them during tailgating.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's awful. I never wear when I go to a game, even if I'm recruiting for a team. I
Hmm.
never wear any team's
Yeah,
apparel
and
ever.
don't put it on your car. Yeah.
No, I never put anything like that. I go and watch the game, and I
Yeah.
don't. If I'm a big Ohio State fan, when I go as a spectator, I don't wear Ohio State gear.
Hmm.
Um,
Right. Yeah. While you're in the company of other Ohio, but you got to walk to and from that. And Bobby. Here's the kind of man Bobby Bowden was. Uh, Once FSU started to get established, I mean, the stadium was filling up.
mhm, yeah,
And Bobby would come on the big Megatron in the middle of the field and out the speakers and say, "Folks, we appreciate your support. We want you to cheer for our team, but listen, don't ever say bad things about the other team. Just cheer for our team. Don't boo the other team." And then in typical Bobby Bowden personality says, after all, folks, it's hard to get people to play us here.
yeah, really. Um, yeah, it's I still see it when I go to the Bengals games or Pittsburgh, wherever. People are they need to cut beer sales off sooner than they do. So, you know,
Yeah, what is it? $45 for about 6 beers.
I have no idea. I don't drink and I sit up in the press box, so I don't
Yeah.
know. But I see the after effects of people when I'm typically one of the last ones. We're one of the last ones out. We see the going to the parking garage, all the cans of beer we have to step over, and you can smell it everywhere.
Well,
So
Dale, from the pictures I see, you do indulge in other ways though, like this hot dog with chili and what else it got on it.
you've never been, yeah, you've
It
never
looks
had
like about a
a
three or
three
four
way.
pound
No,
plate.
every team, every city has their, what's famous. Chicago got the deep dish pizza and so forth. Cincinnati is their three-way chili. The chili Skyline, a Gold Star chili. It's just a different, unique blend, and you put your little hot dogs, you put your chili sauce on and your cheese, and on your spaghetti, and it's just awesome. But yeah,
What
that's a tradition in Cincinnati. That's what they're
should you
known
just
for,
dial 911 to stage up the ambulance?
and
For
it's
the heart
awesome.
attack that's
I mean,
impending.
people love it when they come here because they don't get it that much. I mean, it's when at halftime before the half, there's a line up there. I mean, you got Joe Buck or Troy Aikman in line getting this stuff. I mean, it's so everybody's
So
in line to get this. They get the Gold Star chili.
do they bring that to you, or do you have to go get it, or what's the arrangement in the
Oh, it's
press
like
box?
it's right. It's a 5 second walk. I mean, yeah, we have our seats in the booth, and then we get up and take a couple steps out and turn a corner, and there's a big buffet line there. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, pretty good setup. I mean, all of them have it that way. Pittsburgh's got a great setup for us. We go out. We don't have to go very far. Maybe like I said, 5 second walk, and we're there. I mean, literally 5 seconds. It's
All right.
40, 30 feet away from us. So
You put that in your contract, I guess. Um, the next time we get together will be the first Wednesday of December, so Thanksgiving will have come and gone.
first
Uh,
Tuesday, I think it's first Tuesday, right?
I'm sorry, I'm thinking Thursday
And
Thanksgiving. You are correct. It is the
you have
first.
Michelle on the brain there, yeah. In
Um,
fact, talked to her this morning too.
so what? Any closing Thanksgiving thoughts?
No, just we're thankful, just blessed. We have a. I'm blessed beyond. In fact, I was speaking tonight to the Kiwanis how, um, 4 or 5 years ago, I never ever wanted to write a book. I ever thought about writing a book in this journey, and now I'm on this journey. So I'm very.
Hmm.
The message tonight when I was talking to them was just go through the doors that open. Don't try to open them.
Hmm.
I never try. I never wanted to do this.
Well, don't
And
barge them up. Yeah, don't crash the door open.
yeah,
Yeah.
so go through the doors that's open. Be encouraged. If you're passionate about something, just keep doing it, and maybe something good will happen. Even whether it's gardening or whether it's helping people. Be encouraged and keep doing what you. Just be open to something. I mean, I never dreamed about this. I know a lot of people do, and that's great. never dreamed of writing a book, being a literary agent, and I'm now going to embark on another opportunity that I'm joining the team of.
You were teasing that last time, and I forgot to follow
Oh
up.
yeah, yeah. I'm joining the team of Endgame Press, which is Victoria Duerstock's new
Yes.
publishing house, and I'm gonna be on board with her and be helping her, and
You're in
that's an
good
awesome.
company.
Yeah, Vicky's great. We've known each other for at least 5 years now. So, and she's assembling a nice team, uh,
Hmm.
and she's growing. And we discussed this down at the Florida conference, and she approached me, and good things are happening there. I mean, Michelle has her own imprint there now,
Hmm.
and she's asked me to join her team. So that's just another ball to juggle, but that'll be a fun one. So we're looking forward to that. So
Well,
I don't want to say what capacity I'm doing right now, um, but yes, it's going to be fun.
all right. Well, Dale, thanks for the update and congratulations. And I
Yeah,
would congratulate Victoria as well
yeah.
because
I think
she's
yeah, she's gonna make she's made the announcement, but she brought on a few other people, so it's really fun and exciting. And I asked her
I,
today. I said, can I say this? She says, well, sure. Yeah, yeah,
uh-huh.
because we met the other folks on her team today, and she's exciting. She's got some things going.
Dale, good things are happening, my man. Couldn't happen to a better guy. And hey, happy Thanksgiving if I don't see you between now and then. And we'll see you
Yeah,
on
we
the
will.
first Tuesday
Thanks to everybody who's been out there.
of December, man. Appreciate having fun talking to you.
Thanks.
All right, brother. Take care, man. Dell Didway every first and third Tuesday. Disregard what you may have thought you heard earlier. What an interesting guy, and what a great team player he is here on pjnet.tv. Folks, if you want to hang around, we have some stuff breaking. The January 15th event is coming into focus, and we will be putting together tonight, Barbara and I, as soon as we get off the air, we'll be putting together a page. We've got no less than 7 wonderful links that you can post, and each one of them automatically adds us a different picture. And we are going to make this super, super, super easy for you. Okay. All you got to do is copy. You'll have a little copy thing there, and then you can paste that entire text into your Facebook post because, as I mentioned last night, Facebook has decided that we are banned from advertising on Facebook, and theoretically that's in review. But I am under the assumption that we're banned from advertising on Facebook. So who does that leave to carry the water? Well, us, folks. So we're going to have to really get involved in some teamwork, to make all this happen. And I'm confident that we will do exactly that. And I'm very excited about it all. So hang around, get with me, and we'll put some stuff in the chat room links. But by all means, check in the chat room as soon as this gets ready. We'll put it there. So tomorrow, if you would, just check and see, and go to that page that we're building tonight. And let's use our combined strength to advertise this, since Facebook won't let us, quote, advertise it. They don't want our money, I guess. So, all right, before I leave, we got to get bold. So ask yourself these 2 questions. What is the boldest thing you've ever done for Jesus Christ? Post something on Twitter, maybe, I don't know. And whatever the answer is, then ask yourself, how long ago was it when I did that? Because if we are going to carry out the Great Commission in the spirit that we are instructed, I suggest that we not be satisfied with our answers to either of those 2 questions.